Okay, Minorcan Navy, here we go on another field trip. This one into the Okefenokee Swamp on the east side. This is near Folkestone, Georgia, in the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's refuge park there, the main entrance, if you will. And we're going into Chesser Island, into the Homestead. This is the area that W.T. Chesser settled in the mid-1800s. And the particular homestead that's there now, that's available for you to kind of walk around and see that early part of life, was kind of put together by Tom Chesser in 1927. Now, the Chesser family stayed in the swamp until 1958, when they kind of moved out. Their time there finished as the U.S. government took it over and made it into the refuge that it is today. But there, as part of the history of the swamp, is the Chesser Homestead. Now, this place is been restored to what it really would have looked like back in the late 20s and early 30s. These folks were self-sufficient, and while the dwelling may have been rudimentary, everything here was very functional. You can start out there with the sand in the yard. This served a couple purposes. One was for reptiles, to be able to identify if there were any snakes or other critters in the yard, but also that prevented fire, as the swamp did burn quite a bit. It prevent fire from getting to the structure. So a well-kept sandy yard was important part of the property there for preservation. Now, there are a lot of Chessers that are still active in this area of South Georgia, and we understand that some actually come out and do interpretive work, and then sometimes tour the old homestead here. You can check with the park for dates when that kind of happens. These are just some pictures we got from inside the windows, and you can kind of see what life was like back in those early days. The family that lived here were pretty much self-sufficient. They did farming as well as raised a little bit of livestock. They grew sugar cane. That was one of the items they would sell for other items that they needed when they needed cash money. That's one of the things they had, and you'll see in part of this their operation for cane grinding and boiling to make cane syrup. But this Chesser Island was their property, and their family was there for quite a long time. And they made up a lot of the history, the early history of early swamp life by these so-called swampers. That's what they were known as. You see on the back porch here, this was an addition later on, and they had added a tub. The family had gotten a little bigger. They needed some more room, so they added the back porch there. The hand-drawn pump still works. Now on the property there is an old well. The sides of the internals of the well were constructed out of a hollowed out cypress log. But here we see a grindstone, and there's several neat pieces around there that would have made early homestead life possible. And this is the syrup barn. And in addition to some other tools that would have been there, that is where they would boil the cane juice, and they would boil it down to get the syrup. And this is where they would grind the sugar cane to get the juice out of it. They would collect it out of this, and then it would go in to be placed in this vat over fire, heated and boiled. This part of the park, there's no real rangers on site. This is kind of a little self-guided kind of exploration to go in and take a look at this property. Really neat setup they have here on the refuge in the Okefenokee. Here we see this is early mosquito control. Up on the pole there, those are martin gourds where the purple martins would nest, and they would help eat mosquitoes there for them. Well, hey, that's all the time we got. I hope you enjoyed the little visit to Chester Island. Hey, you guys stay safe out there.